All right, we're live. Sean, you were saying that you were sent something extremely disturbing.
So, I don't know if disturbing is the way I would put it. Maybe it is. Last night, went out to the ball game with my buddy, and
you had the opponent wrong, by the way. You told me they were playing the Orioles.
The Royals.
Oh, I misheard you.
Evidently so. But a friend that's living in New York, and at times we'll send each other, whatever's coming on our Instagram feed. If there's a sandwich in New Jersey that I want to get, maybe I'll send that to him.
Okay.
He sent me some places in Chinatown he wants to eat at. We'll deliberate. We're pals. We trying to plan out if we're going to get together, get a meal. And then today, right before the show kicked off, he pitched me a new place. And I was so flabbergasted because you won't believe.
Was it Shake Shack?
No. He pitched me a place that you and I have talked about in New York many times.
Oh, the Luncheonette.
The 99-year-old EP sent me a reel of that.
Oh, screw him. I've known that place before. Chance has known it.
They had, I guess there's a new fresh video of them where they don't say, they're still making Coke the old way. No. They're not throwing the numbers in anymore. And I got duped again. I'll never go to this place in my life.
For anyone perplexed by what we're talking about, the meme that was, it was a AI Twitter account basically just regurgitating this 99-year-old diner makes Coke the old-fashioned way, or whatever the age of it was. And then it just kept getting reposted and reposted and reposted as engagement farming content. And I knew of this restaurant. I used to go to this restaurant, this diner, once a month, every single time I'd get my haircut, because it's right by where I used to get my haircut. I did have an intended bit that I was going to take you there without you knowing it and see how quickly you'd realize it. Maybe we'll still try to do that. But screw Chance for thinking he found some trendy. Did he know? Did he know what he did?
I don't think he knows about the depth and the lore that this restaurant has on Twitter.
And your distaste for it. It's a great restaurant.
I'm sure it is. It can be. But I got so sick of hearing about their old-fashioned Coca-Cola and also seeing them jam 6 spurts of that super sweet syrup in those glasses. Where I know I'm not gonna enjoy it. I'm already set in my ways before stepping through the door, and I couldn't believe, because I thought immediately, I looked at the username. Did Joe send me this? Because it looked like a trendy new video. Like, oh, you have to check out this spot in New York City.
Can you send me? And I would like to see the.
Oh, sure. I'll send this right over to you.
The funny part about this restaurant is I went to this restaurant for at least 15 years. Once a month for 15 years. Maybe not every single month, but like for most of my childhood, to the point where like we got to know the owner not that well, but his son played hockey and my brother and I played hockey. So like we would talk to his son all the time who worked at the place. So we had a relationship with the people who owned the place. And it didn't even occur to me that was what was being referenced in this stupid meme. And I had no idea that their whole deal was that they made Coke the old-fashioned way.
Oh, well, I know about it now. And I know they make Coke the old-fashioned way. And you're going to get me staying at home the old-fashioned way. Me not crossing through that threshold the old-fashioned way. I will not darken that doorstep the old-fashioned way. I just couldn't believe that I was having this gimmick run on me, not like intentionally.
Hey, screw Vivian for acting like she found something.
What, Vivian?
Don't romanticize my spot.
Is it good?
Yes.
What do you get there?
Eggs and bacon. It's some of the best, just like
you get cheese in
staples.
The eggs?
Yeah, I got a little cheese on there. The bacon, some of the best bacon that I've had. Great food. All right, we've got best bets that we're going to get to today for college football and NFL. We're also going to introduce 2 new segments, or I guess 1 new segment that's 2 different pieces to it. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about the Rams situation as they are dealing with some serious injuries. All that coming up. But before, we're going to hit the break, and then we're going to talk about Bet Online.
And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for like probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by
every week. It's just terrible. Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson, two former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. Today, we've got best bets across college football in the NFL and a couple other interesting, fun topics that we're going to get to. Before we get to it, Sean, where can folks place these bets if they like the picks that we're given?
They can win some bets at BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. Not baseball, apparently, for me, because I took a bath last night. I always get too fired up when I'm going to the ballpark, and I throw the money down like it's a sure thing because I'm going to be in the stands, you know. I'm not going to be the one yelling at MJ Melendez from left field, but somebody else was, and they were letting him have it. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on their $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200K. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Joe and I are going to be betting all season long. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Thank you, Sean. So today we've got college, we've got NFL best bets. I've picked myself up off the mat. We're trending in the right direction. I went 1 for 2 last week on college bets. This is one of my worst starts that I've ever had. Finally, I was the first person to put the bets in today for college, so we got a head start there. I don't need it for NFL apparently because I'm just so much better at my pro bets than Sean, moron. 1 for 2 last week. I'm currently 3-6 on the season. Sean is cheated his way to a 6-3 with 2-1 last week.
My brilliance continues to shine through. I keep on kicking your ass. I'm happy about it. I like seeing how sad you are, knowing that the big college football head over here.
All right. You had
nailing down all my bets.
You had one hot week, and what was the one that you had? You delete? No, did you? No, there was one that you had that was a little dicey. I forget. I think it was the Georgia Southern one.
It was a little bit. It was a little dicey, but they pulled it out. I was happy about them. Tennessee was a huge lock. Iowa effed my butt. But other than that, I was 2-1. It was a good week.
Have a little bit of grace there.
I thought I did with the self-censorship.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pitch my first one here. My first bet for college football. I'm taking Vanderbilt minus 10.5 versus Georgia State. This line is so disrespectful to the Commodores, who might be my bit team this year. I love Diego Pavia. They're going to be my Rutgers this season. I'm going to keep riding him because the books hate Vanderbilt. 10.5 against the G5 program, no less the G5 program that their head coach left in the middle of spring ball, to the point where I think they didn't finish spring ball. Their program is not in a good situation right now. The Commodores, they're hot. They put up some points up on Virginia Tech. Diego Pavia looks great at quarterback. 10.5 is a lock. So give me that for my first one.
Okay. It's a little bit aggressive in the tone. Vanderbilt double-digit favorite.
Why don't you shut your mouth?
I'm just letting you know. It's a little fired up.
Shut your mouth.
Sunday. Come watch Vanderbilt beat up on Georgia State. My first pick. Auburn giving 28 points to New Mexico. I love this. You know why? New Mexico's a bad team, and the locker room could go one of two ways after losing to FCS Montana State by 4 points, may I add, in week 0. When they're facing Arizona, to say, okay, we can get up off the mat and maybe make it competitive, or we can let Arizona put 61 points on us. I think they went with the latter. So New Mexico's season could be kind of spiraling before it starts. I think Auburn is looking for a little bit of that Clemson get back after losing to Cal. Embarrassing. Good Twitter discourse around that game, but still an embarrassing loss for Auburn. Auburn is better than that. Auburn knows that they can beat New Mexico by 28 points, and they will. I like this bet. I like the big spread.
28 points. 28 points. Yeah. Their offense is horrible.
Big Daddy Hugh Freeze is going to lay that 20 points down.
You're going to be calling Peyton Thorne like these other losers who are Venmo requesting him right now. You're going to be picking up the phone and yelling at him. Here. If you were so confident in this bet, if this bet doesn't hit, you got to add him on Twitter. You have to at Peyton Thorne on Twitter.
No, he's taking some heat, man.
Record a video and add him on Twitter. You're so confident.
Yeah,
you're so confident in it. It's a terrible pick. They stink.
22 players, 11 players on each side of the ball. I'm not attacking the quarterback for going out there before he scores 28 points on New Mexico. New Mexico's a bad team. Auburn should be better, and I think that if they want to take themselves seriously this season, as they were pitched to be a serious team, then they cover the 28 in this matchup.
They couldn't move the ball against Cal.
Why are you sleeping on Cal?
This is even. Forget this for a second. We're not talking about them covering against a Power 4 opponent. We're talking about them covering 28 points. 28 points.
Down 28 to start the game.
They don't have that in their system. They just don't. They don't have the balls for that. They don't have the gusto for them to win by 28 points.
You're telling me big bad SEC War Eagle, Big Daddy Auburn can't beat New Mexico at home by 4 scores.
By the way, I appreciate this one weird bit that my friend does. He I forget where it was. Oh God, where were we? I think we were at dinner. And he started going on this tangent, and he was like, you need to demand that Rufino and Joe, the name of the show, is changed to Joe and Rufino. And, like, he was serious. He was so serious about it. And the whole time I'm like, why are you so adamant about us changing this? I'm like, it doesn't really matter. It's just a name. And he had a bigger following when we started. I thought that.
I think Rufino and Joe also flows better. Joe and Rufino.
It doesn't. You go last name and then the first name when you're doing a name show.
Well, at least you got a unique first name.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, why didn't we do Rufino and DeLeone? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
I wouldn't want to go Blake personally. Like Rufino's got a little bit of pop to it when you hear it.
Yeah,
Rufino.
Yeah, we should have done Rufino and DeLeone. That would have. Maybe I should broach that. Maybe it's probably too late for that. All right, my next pick, Arizona State versus Texas State. This game is on Thursday night at Texas State. I'm taking Arizona State -1.5. Texas State appears to be a scrappy G5 team, a team that is going to potentially make this run at being the G5 representative in the playoff. They opened a can of whoop ass on UTSA, which is historically pretty good team led by Jeff Traylor. But man, I cannot help but be impressed by the way that Arizona State played against Mississippi State. I was burned by it last week, and I'm flipping. I love Cam Scattaboo, who's the running back who had 260 yards against an SEC defense. You tell me he's not going to run wild against Texas State. All they need is 1.5. You tell me they can't win by a field goal?
They should be able to win by a field goal. I like that Scattaboo, former FCS guy.
It's Scattaboo, by the way.
Scattaboo?
Yeah, Pat apparently the AD reached out to him.
Well, I like
the SID, sorry.
I like that Scattaboo came up from the FCS and then just started talking a whole bunch of mess as soon as he got to Arizona State and started bawling the hell out. He's an impressive player. Look, I can see why you're turning for Arizona State. I can't imagine why they're only 1.5 point favorites. That's crazy to me. Maybe I'll have to double check your line.
We're early on. No, I placed this bet on DraftKings. So I have on Bet Online. I placed this bet. You're supposed to shop around.
Sure.
for good lines.
You got just a different bonus that you got there.
Yeah. Let's go with that. No, I got this at 1.5. I think that there's oftentimes the first month of the season, there's the residual preseason bias against teams that were conceived to be bad, and then also some teams that were thought to be way better than they are, like this stupid Auburn -28 against New Mexico.
I gotcha. It's fine if you have that kind of a line for.
I'll show you
a good P4 team versus a good G5 team. It's a fine line. Happy for you that you got it. My next line. Let's go with a little bit of a dog action here. ODU getting 14.5 versus Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has already shown this season that they'll play down to an opponent. Also, ODU historically plays like hell against any teams in the Tidewater, any teams in Virginia, any teams in Northern North Carolina. ODU has bloodlust for these teams. It's all the guys on ODU that wanted to go to Virginia Tech. They wanted to go to UNC. They wanted to go to these bigger schools and didn't go there, but they went to ODU. So what do? They rally in Norfolk, and all season long, they just circle the games close in vicinity that didn't take them, and they beat the shit out of these teams. They work them over. They don't always win, but it is a battle. ODU getting 14.5 versus a Virginia Tech team that can be suspect. Yeah, I like that line. I like it a lot.
Hometown hero pick, apparently. That's what you're going with. I'm from Virginia. I know everybody and everything from Virginia. ODU, here they come. No, terrible pick. I hate
That's
this
a
pick.
good pick. They've always battled hard against
Bad
those
pick.
teams.
Bad pick. I don't hate it, but it's bad
It's a
pick.
ball knower pick.
No, it's not. My last pick I've got here, Bama minus 16 versus Wisconsin. This one is the overreaction, overanalysis situation here. There are so many mouth breathers I've seen this week that are just yelling, what's wrong with Alabama? What do we make of Alabama? They were dealing with offensive line injuries against South Florida. They played rusty for 3 quarters. And then when they said, guys, what are we doing? Let's lock in. They smoked them in the 4th quarter. They also went against a team that had one of the best G5 quarterbacks in the country in Byron Brown, who's a very good athlete, and they just weren't rallying to tackle. You know who's not a good athlete and not very explosive at quarterback? Tyler Van Dyke. I am taking the Tyler Van Dyke anti-pick. They can't move the ball on offense. They're not ready for what is coming for them. And I look, serious note here, I look at what happened with Texas and Michigan, where you had a team that had some chops, had a good defense, but a really just lifeless offense. And the other team had juice all around, and they just snowballed, and then they finished with a big lead. 16 points on the road is nothing for this matchup. Jalen Milroe is going to drop his nuts on Tyler Van Dyke's face.
Oh my God, you're out of control. You are. This is an obsession.
This is going to be 3-0 week.
This is
3-0
an
week.
obsession
3-0 week
against this gentleman that is just playing football at his very best.
I take it out on him because Miami fans took it out on me when I criticized him last year.
Unfair.
And then they all
Unfair.
started attacking him like weeks later. They all started hating on him. So no, for the scorn and the hatred that I received because of this guy, I'm going to keep delivering it to him.
You know what?
Thanks.
I've got some scorn and hatred in this game. I actually do. I like this pick. I don't like Luke Fickell. I've got some scorn and hatred against him because he made Desmond Ritter look like a guy that could play at the next level.
Are you gonna? I swear to God, you better not tail me on this. Stop tailing me, man.
Oh, you mean stop winning your bets for you?
No. All the bets that you tail me on are the ones that don't hit 2 weeks in.
That's worth a bet.
Stop tailing me.
I just like that we.
I faded you to success last week, by the way.
Did you really? Okay.
Yeah, most of my win. I ended up in the green on all of my picks last weekend because I faded you on every single bet.
Just what we were talking about, or what we were?
All your show picks, I faded you.
How is that possible? I was 2-1.
The NFL ones.
Oh yeah, I was 1-1-1. I
still faded you. It still brought me in the green.
I'm glad you got some value there. Then.
Yeah.
I don't mind Bama giving 16 versus Wisconsin. It'll be. It's a big game. It's a big game to watch to see what Alabama's really made of because Wisconsin at home likes to play, hard-nosed football. My final pick, Boston College getting 16.5 points versus Missouri. Oh, it's sweaty. As I said it out loud, I didn't love it as much as when I was thinking about it earlier. I think Boston College is a team on the rise. I think Missouri is a team on the rise as well. But I don't think Missouri beats BC by 17 points. I think Boston College is playing with more respect for themselves under head coach Bill O'Brien. It's a gut play. I think Castellanos is really good. Missouri obviously has very good athletes. We have to be worried about what they can do. And Boston College, you got to get some touchdowns this game. Yeah, you can't just let it be 3-14 because Missouri will punish you for that. But if we get a couple scores on the board for Boston College, this bet hits. It hits for sure.
I gave this pick out on the weekly spot that I do on VSiN, on Joe's show. And one of the things that caveats I had with this, I like the pick. I got it at 17, but my only problem with it, there's only 2 ways that this goes. And I know this is going to sound really dumb. Boston College isn't going to win this, but Boston College is either going to drag Missouri down to their level. Castellanos is going to have a lot of big plays, and he's going to keep it close. Or better athletes at Missouri are just going to prevail, and then in the 4th quarter, they're just going to cover late, and they're going to win by like 21. or 18 or something like just silly enough that it's just over that. I don't know. This one's a little dicey. And I had this pick. This is the only one that I'm not going to give a hard time for.
Yeah, I don't think you should. It's a good pick. It's going to win. It's a winning pick. I actually don't like that you like it because of how ice cold you are.
Well, I'm not ice cold with my NFL bets. We started off last week, Sean, with doing NFL picks for NFL Week 1. Your boy was 2-1.
Don't like that.
And Slaps McGee over here was 1-1. Nice bad job betting. And who would have thought everybody was making fun of me? You were the only one making fun of me.
Your boy.
When I had made the argument that I'm going to take the West Coast team in the late night slot against an East Coast team, and look how that one panned out. You crapped on that one. Didn't you?
I just said it was dicey. I didn't like that.
Didn't look very dicey on TV when we were watching it.
I thought the Jets would have had a spine walking into this season. Maybe, possibly.
Ball knower over here. Real ball knower over here. All right, my first NFL pick. Oh, to sum up the why don't you have a percentage? Why do I have a percentage, but you don't have a percentage?
To be honest, I didn't know how to do 1-1-1 as a percentage.
Well, one doesn't count. You're 1-1, so you're 50%. Well, the one doesn't count towards the percentage.
Okay,
it's just it's a push.
Gotcha.
You went 1-1-1. You're at 50%. I'm 2-1 at 66%. King of the bets over here. My first pick that I have. Sean took just the low-hanging fruit and pisses me off.
Bama better. I'm sure I took the low-hanging fruit.
I should have put my NFL pick. I rushed to put my college picks in, and then I meandered too much with the NFL ones. I like Chiefs -5 versus the Bengals. As we were reminded last Sunday, the Bengals, for whatever reason, under Zach Taylor, cannot start the season hot. And when you played as rusty as you did against the Patriots, you're facing a better defense against the Chiefs have. And it seems like the receiver room with T. Higgins' injury and Jamar Chase kind of feeling himself out. And there's the whole contract dispute that might be a distraction for him based on the way that he's responding to comments and questions about it. It sounds like it's a distraction for them. So I think that the Chiefs going into this are going to win by 7 or just a little bit more than that.
It's fair. The Bengals like to piss down the side of their legs in September. They have been getting a lot of criticism though this week. And
criticism? Why did you say
I don't really like getting a team that loves to fall asleep early in the year inspired early. It's a fine bet. Chiefs, nice easy line. I'm sure pick the best team in the NFL and say that I'm taking the low hanging fruit by sweating it out with my first bet. Chargers giving 6
this is
versus
low
the
hanging
Panthers.
fruit. That was I have the whole bit that I was going to do this season. I was just going to bet against the Panthers every single week, but now I can't do that.
You bet on the Panthers in week 1.
I'm trying to get back at them. They suck. But now you stole the bit that I was going to do every single week.
Well, you know who doesn't suck?
Can't start week 3 doing that bit.
Jim Harbaugh doesn't suck. He is a leader of men. He is a motivator. If you watched his post-game comments in the locker room with his team, it's the happiest I've seen the Chargers. I've never seen a smile on a Chargers face when Brandon Staley, that dope, was the head coach. He stunk. Now they have Harbaugh. They're going to start winning. J.K. Dobbins could go for 202 touchdowns against the Panthers, who just lost Derek Brown for the season also. Probably their best defensive player and the only guy that can stop the run on the defense. Chargers giving 6 is a huge lock. Great bet to take. I love this bet.
I hope Bryce Young goes for like 490 and has a career day and then is suddenly thrust into the MVP conversation. So let's go Panthers. Wow. Jets -3.5 versus the Titans is my next one. I have like really no love for this Titans team. I think we were quickly reminded of how messy they are on offense. And it really comes down to Will Levis. He is so mistake prone. The Jets are good enough defensively and have strong enough of a coaching staff that I think that you come away from the 49ers game having some of your issues exposed and then being aggressive in trying to correct them. So here we are stepping in, going up against a Titans team that could not go toe for toe against the Bears, who put up 90-something passing yards. Now, I think that the Jets are going to win this pretty handedly, and this is going to be a bit of a confidence booster for the Jets team that desperately needs it.
If the Titans want to play vintage Titans football, and the vintage Titans football is what got them to, beat top tier AFC teams, got them to be a number 1 seed in the AFC, then they have to start it early, and that means running the ball hard, and that means playing suffocating defense behind a good O-line. The O-line getting better week by week. I think that they're trying to really improve it. The defensive line is a huge problem with Simmons and Sweat up there. Sweat takes up 2 NFL guards. He's the biggest person I've ever seen in my life. But needing Will Levis to just become a game manager is going to be tough because he is a gunslinger.
That's not him. That's the problem with that team is that's not him. He is boom or bust, and bust was last week.
And I think facing the Jets defense, there's very high chance that it's a bust day for him. He could get he's got to go against Sauce Gardner on the outside. He's got to go against those safeties that the Jets have. The linebackers are all intelligent and fast. I think the Jets 3.5. It's a fine pick. I can't really break you down for that one. I'm sure you'll find a way for my next pick. I got the Colts giving 3 versus the Packers. Oh, Sean, the Packers are still going to be good. They have all this talent.
Who are you impersonating? You were doing like a woman's voice there for a second, and then you kind of pulled off.
A womanly Packers fan, I guess.
Okay.
The Packers
too much cheese
are not gonna win this game. You know why? Because their quarterback went down. Jordan Love is down, and now you have Malik Willis, who has looked incompetent at best playing quarterback in the NFL, starting off the game for them. I will go against the Packers until I see them win a game with him. Colts giving 3. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid yet on all this Anthony Richardson hype. It was week 1. He had a big, awesome throw, I'm sure. He had a great run in the end zone. That was great. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if he can keep on progressing as a good quarterback. In this game, all I need him to do is score 10 points. Because I don't think the Packers are going to muster up anything on offense. I genuinely think they could score a touchdown. Maybe. Maybe Josh Jacobs breaks one. But Malik Willis is not moving the ball down the field.
I hope Malik Willis goes for 490 and is thrust into the MVP conversation. No, I need Anthony Richardson to play well because I don't have Jordan Love on my fantasy team anymore. My fantasy team's horrible. It is unbelievably, laughably terrible, and I need Anthony Richardson to carry my ass.
I have the best team in my league statistically at this point.
I hope they all get put on the commissioner's exempt list for heinous, terrible things.
I put up 160 in week 1, overcame a 40-point decimate before Sunday Night Football, and had a ridiculously beautiful comeback.
Deficit?
Deficit.
You said decimate.
You know what? Maybe
if you're going to call me out for saying shit wrong, I'm coming for you.
Fine, then clip that up and let me see, because this could be twice I haven't been able to say deficit right.
It's a pretty easy word.
I'm struggling with it, apparently.
That and a lot of things. Give me for my last one, Commanders versus the Giants -2. I mean, does this not feel like what we're used to seeing, where the Commanders just always find ways to make the Giants look bad, especially early on in the season? I think Jaden Daniels is going to have like a career day.
Is that your perception of the Commanders-Giants matchups?
Yes! So many years! The Giants were always getting their asses kicked by the Commanders. Always when they need to have big wins.
Are terrified of the Giants. Because
they shouldn't be.
The Giants, in their worst years, still get a win against the Commanders, the football team, the previously then Redskins. The Giants are like the boogeyman.
They shouldn't perceive it to be that.
Crazy.
They absolutely should not perceive it to be that, because I can think of so many times in which that the Giants, we were hoping for a little momentum. Oh, there's the big game coming up here. Like we need to get this win over the Commanders. They're not going to be that competitive, and then we would lose. So yeah, no. If Jaden Daniels pops off and has a crazy game, it's going to be against the Giants probably.
I think last year the Giants had lost 6 in a row and were starting to veto, and they beat the Commanders that were vying to stay in the hunt. No, I am not betting on one team in this game. If I was going to, I would genuinely flip it and take the Giants over the Commanders, but maybe that's just the hometown hurt. My final, that's so funny that Giants fans.
No, I honestly know that this just feels like a game where like our pants have been pulled down and now we're just waiting to get just embarrassed further. Like that's what I know is coming next. Blake is apparently. I'm glad that Blake still has internet. I'm glad you still have internet, Blake.
That's good to see.
Surviving the storm.
Can I be honest with you?
Uh-huh.
I didn't even scan all the way down to the bottom of the full lines because I didn't want to see how much Philly was favored against Atlanta. I genuinely don't know their line. I can't.
Yeah,
I didn't want to see it because I knew I would take it, and I would rant a rave about my fandom and my team. my final bet here for the NFL, my final lock, it's the 49ers giving 6 versus the Vikings. The Vikings had a good win in week 1. Who would they play? The dog shit Giants. What happened? Daniel Jones did some Daniel Jones stuff. The 49ers are better than the Vikings. The 49ers would have beat the Giants.
6.5, by the way, against the Falcons.
That's generous. They should be 11-point favorites.
All right, go ahead. Continue.
The 49ers are a really good team. They're the class of the NFC, and I've seen some people saying best in the NFL after what they did to the Jets on Monday Night Football. The Vikings are good. They're fine. They have Sam Darnold, who is going to work in this system because he has 2 really good wideouts. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison are legit. They're a legit 1-2, but they don't have much else. 49ers giving 6 feels generous. It feels like an early week pick. I don't care if they have McCaffrey. Mason stepped up and had a huge game. It's an easy bet. Don't overthink this one. The Vikings aren't as good as the 49ers, not by a touchdown.
Brendan, we're not getting to 1,000. Everybody talked all that crap about getting 1,000 people in here and trying to get Sean to eat dog shit. It's not going to happen.
And it wasn't just
everyone doesn't. No one wants to live up to the expectations that they put out there, including you.
How so?
Because you know that you're not going to have to eat the dog shit. So like you don't have to live up to that.
But people know that I'm willing and able.
You can. Oh, but we don't know that. We don't know that until we ever get to 1,000.
We've had conversations off air about how I would actually obtain the dog shit. Okay. So if we've gone that far,
I think you knew it wasn't coming. I think you knew it. I think you knew that you could make a promise like that and that 1,000 people were not coming.
It was a goal. Maybe I'll try to Jerry after dark it up a little bit.
It was just like a dipshit who said that he was going to eat it if Boston College beat Florida State. He didn't think it was astronomically possible. And here we are.
Look, God forbid I try to get a show bit going on the fly.
No, I think you wanted a low stakes reason to make that claim.
I think it could have been done given the response that I was seeing in day one.
I knew none of those people were going to follow through. I knew not a single one of those people were going to follow through.
You know what? I had too much faith in humanity, I guess. Brendan, you give me a break. The gross shit. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. That was your fault. I've never had that shot before. You know why? Because I'm a straight drinker. I don't need gimmicks like you hacks in South Dakota that always need a game to go along with your drinking. How about just sitting down in your basement and crushing 13 depressed beers? You have no room to stand on.
I think
I need a little umbrella with my shot. I'm from South Dakota.
I think that's a universal thing, sitting in a basement depressed drinking 6 beers. I think that's very universal. Look, the 49ers pick, that was one that I wanted, but I hope that Sam Darnold goes for 490 and is thrust into the MVP conversation. That's what we root for every single week. Man, you love rooting against bad quarterbacks. All right. Hell yeah of the week. We're introducing this. We're introducing every single week. We're going to do a hell yeah of the week, which is extremely self-explanatory, and then a get effed of the week, which is something where somebody just got completely dunked on or screwed over, whatever it might be, something along those lines. And Sean did some wonderful production. So this is our hell yeah of the week.
This is the Hack City Hell Yeah of the Week. Cue the lasers.
Real radio
This
production
is
there.
the
Oh, it repeats. Oh, if you don't turn it off.
It's a little looped. I want to hear the lasers again.
All right, my hell yeah of the week, and this one's totally extremely stupid, but Shannon Sharp accidentally was live while he was having sex earlier. Now, he came out and released a statement that his team was looking into how he got hacked, and I think we should all be on the lookout that our Instagrams don't get hacked when we're having sex. Maybe he just happened to roll over and make his phone live on Instagram, and maybe Instagram was open already, and it just happened to get clicked really quickly. I will say Instagram is one of the worst apps to have just like already opened on your phone, and then you put it back in your pocket or something along those lines, because it triggers so many buttons so quickly. I've had like stories added before and stuff like that. Like, I understand what probably went down here. He probably had it open, forgot to close his phone, and then while he was having sex, it clearly must have gotten pressed. This is a hell yeah of the week because he's in his 50s. And he's getting after it, man. You got to give him props. He sounds like he's got plenty of energy. Sounds like he's doing a great job.
Sounds like he's
Did you watch the video?
Did I watch the video? Joe,
it sounded like he was doing a good job. You got to give him some credit.
Sounded like he was having a good time. The Instagram go live. I like sometimes when I open it up and I try to click a story and I'm just in someone's live with 2 viewers for 2 minutes and I don't want to leave immediately and make it awkward.
No, you got. Oh no. He's 56 years old. By the way.
I think whether or not he was hacked or not, I don't know if this is totally bad for Shannon Sharp, as there were as he
own up to it,
as he has progressively gotten bigger in the mediascape. There has been speculations made by just bad Twitter people, people doing bad shtick about how he may not be all the man that he says he is.
Wait, what?
Like there have been some
Were
tweets.
people trying to do some math on.
They were trying to say
some size going on here.
No, not in that sense. They were questioning, with the tight sweaters and the tight pants and the. They were starting to think he's a little,
Okay.
Not.
Just say it out loud. They're saying they thought he had a small dong.
No, they thought that he was maybe not as straight
as perceived. I didn't know that's what you meant.
And this could have been Unk showing everybody that, hey, proof's in the pudding right now, folks. This is what you got. And I could claim hacked, but no matter what, you heard it.
Yeah, he should have claimed hacked. He should have been like, oops. He was doing a good job. It sounded like he had some good motion going on. I don't think that he should feel ashamed about that. He's 56. I think most 56-year-olds, which I don't think anyone's like acting like Shannon Sharp did something that's so shameful.
No.
But most 56-year-olds that probably saw that are like, I can't remember the last time that I had that much energy.
Shannon Sharp's a gamer. I could believe he has energy because I think I saw a video of him benching 4 plates on each side at 55, 56. He's not.
That translates.
He's not human. He's a different. He's an evolved breed of human, where ultimate personality, ultimate football player.
Yes.
And I guess a machine.
And he's
slinging.
Slinging dick. All right. What's your hell yeah of the week?
My hell yeah of the week. Tagging players on Twitter to let them know you missed their touchdowns because you were taking a shit. I noticed this on Twitter. In Falcons Twitter this past weekend, Kyle Pitts scored a touchdown, right? Everyone's happy for Kyle Pitts scored a touchdown. And my Falcons Twitterdom spans a bunch of different accounts. And Fire Brian Snitger at I'm not going to give his at just in case.
Yeah, don't.
Regardless, there was a Falcons fan who tweeted out, I just missed at Kyle Pitts touchdown because I'm taking a dump. My bad, bruh. Nature called. # rise up. # dirty birds. At MB Stadium. At Atlanta Falcons. Hell yeah.
Real shitter.
If you are one, a real shitter, that's a hell yeah. 2, if you're documenting yourself taking a shit in a stadium and adding the stadium, hell yeah. 3, go ahead. At the player. I wanted to see your touchdown, big dog. I couldn't though, but just let you know, I'm still supporting. Even from the bathroom. That is a hell yeah for me.
On the fly idea, can we make a separate document? I think we should give out a shitter of the year, the real shitter of the year award. Can we just like keep track of any instances that we find?
Oh, sure.
Like a shared note or something. Like you need to put this down. I think that would be a really good show bit.
I could do that.
I think it's awesome. I think this is hilarious. I mean, you're taking a dump and you're like, hey man, I missed it. Also, taking a dump in a stadium is probably one of the most real shitter moves that I've ever seen. This is why I want to invent the Real Shitters community app, which is an idea that I pitched a while ago. Those who need a refresher, when I was at the Super Bowl and I was there for media, Radio Row for the week with all the media folks, I noticed that there was a certain demographic of real shitters that were using the toilets that were blowing them up. There were some real champions of the day that showed up to compete in the bathrooms.
They were leaving it on the field.
Yeah, they were leaving it all in the bathroom. They were leaving it on the field. And I firmly believe that I think we can unlock a new network of people that are real shitters. The realest shitters are the hardest workers and some of the best people out there. And we have no idea. We don't know because their feet are all we see. And we don't know who those real shitters are who put out the real effort, except for this champion who tweeted out that he was taking a shit in an NFL stadium that probably was ran through by hundreds of people before he got there.
Dirty South, man. We're different types of fans down there. Real shitters and real flakes when the team goes 0-4.
Rise up is a tough one when you're talking about a shit. That's a very good point. All right, let's get to Get Effed of the Week.
Get help?
I broke my knee, man.
No. Get Effed.
Ice up, son.
It's the Hack City Get Effed of the Week.
This one requires a little bit more explaining. This is something or someone that got completely dunked on, screwed over, just got completely effed, and that you point and say to him, "Get effed!" Mine this week, of course it's Notre Dame related, Mac Brown, the old curmudgeon of UNC, the head coach for UNC, for no reason whatsoever, media availability this week, he just chose to throw this comment out there. And then apparently, I love the article I pulled this quote from. After the quote, it said he proceeded to go into a long-winded answer. So they just decided to provide the context. Yeah, he rambled a ton after this.
Oh, Mac Brown, no.
Yeah, he just kind of showed up to talk. But I don't know why Mac Brown has turned into this guy that's just casually flinging shit. But the comment that he said was, if you talk to Coach Freeman today, would you ask if Northern Illinois was a good team to be on the schedule? Brown said, sticking his hands up in the air upwards. I wanted to find video of this. I could not find video of this, but I can just picture Mac Brown saying this with his drawl that he has and then sticking his hands in the air just like, oh, that's too bad, Marcus Freeman. There was no reason for him to say this. None. He has no relation or affiliation or direction or connection to the University of Notre Dame or Marcus Freeman. He just took a dump on him for no reason. Marcus Freeman deserves it. That's all I have to say.
Oh God! So you're flipping. You're completely flipping on your own school here.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a bunch of hats that I wanted to buy and gear I wanted to buy. I'm not touching Notre Dame stuff until we get a new head coach. I might not wear any more Notre Dame gear. I'm being totally honest. I'm embarrassed.
Well, I was ready to wear my Falcons hat out in the streets last week, and I couldn't.
Yeah, because no one's going to say anything to you. We're in New Jersey.
They would just point and laugh, seeing that my team
They'd be like, why you got to they would just say, why do you have a Falcons hat on? That's all you're going to get with
I don't
that.
want them saying anything about that. I'd rather have a good game today. But, yeah, getting an auxiliary trashing from a college football legend is tough. My get effed of the week, you know how the NFL, their YouTube page puts out a lot of stuff, Joe. They put out game highlights, they put out shorts, they put up clips, interviews, everything. And at the end of the week, I guess the NFL team decides, hey, we're going to put up each team's best play of the game. Win or loss, every team gets their best play. You see long touchdown passes like Anthony Richardson for the Colts. You see a strip sack for TJ Watt and the Steelers. The Giants, and I hate to keep on going back to this well, their best play of the game was a punt. A punt that landed on the 1, good for the Giants. But the Vikings proceeded to score a 99-yard, they went on a 99-yard touchdown drive after said punt. So the punt didn't even really matter that much. So they got effed, and they're getting torched on Twitter, and the YouTube comments are just, can you imagine your team's best play being a punt? Oh my God, it's all about the punts. It's not the discourse that they were hoping for. It was simply all about the punt. Good game, Giants. I'm sure you guys are going to get better next week. Maybe they'll get a field goal in this one.
That's why I took the Commanders to cover. Yeah, the Giants are a joke. I mean, they're easy to. Why are we dunking on the both of my teams this week?
It's a bad week for you.
It's bad life for me.
Ask me how February to March of 2017 was for me, and if I even came out of my room.
You still got to see your team in a Super Bowl.
Joe.
And then wait, and then you went
Joseph.
on to have a World Series win and a Stanley Cup win. No, you had the Stanley Cup. No, you had a Stanley Cup win that
in
year.
18, World Series in 19. So I went a full year around the globe.
Oh, that's so long.
For the worst sports upset in history. Or the biggest sports comeback in history.
You still get to say that all 3 major sports that you follow, except for basketball. I don't even know what team you like.
Go Wizards.
Are you actually a Wizards fan?
I'm following my boy Johnny. He tweeted out, I'm bringing basketball fandom back into DC. I'm not just going to go to the games and cheer for the other teams that I want to see. I'm going to go in and boo the Wizards from here on out for being bad. So yeah, if I do end up seeing another Wizards game, I'm going to be a traditional fan and boo them if they're bad.
Okay. You still got to witness good teams, though.
Some good teams.
Plenty of good teams.
Notre Dame's had some good teams.
All right, we're moving on. Now you're just being an asshole. All right, last thing I wanted to get to today. in NFL news, the Rams are dealing with some serious injuries. They played a great first game against the Lions, despite some of those injuries popping up in the game on Sunday Night Football. They scrap their way back. Game goes to overtime. They lose on a pretty unscathed drive from the Rams, or from the Lions rather. And it's a tough way to go. But a lot of people are discussing why there should be some concern for the Rams situation. Right now, Puka Nacua, their star wide receiver, is down on with an injury. He's placed on the IR. Steve Avila, who is not an elite guard, but a young, improving, quality, important piece of your offensive line that without him is probably going to struggle. He's placed on the IR. And then Joe Noteboom also placed on the IR. When you end up being one of these teams in week one, Sean, that already has 3 critical injuries, which 2 offensive linemen and one of your top receivers, those are critical injuries. Typically, you've got a good coaching staff that overcomes it. But when you're one of these teams that has early injuries, I feel like this just never works out. You never want to be that team in week 1, week 2 that's already getting snaked by the injury bug. This sucks. This sucks because it feels like that this Rams team had some juice coming into the year, that the way that they played against the Lions, if they were full health, they would have won that game.
The Rams are a good team, and I don't think Stafford's completely healthy, which doesn't hurt them also. He was getting dinged up. He was getting his ankle taped in the game. Losing Noteboom, who was Andrew Whitworth's replacement. How could we ever replace 40-year-old Andrew Whitworth? How is it going to happen? He's going to go on Thursday Night Football and wear tight vests and have a shaved head. Oh, how are we going to lose the big man? Joe Noteboom's how. He's going to come in and effortlessly look like a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle. And he's so solid. These are like quiet killers of potentially good NFL teams. Losing 2 up front early. Eventually through the year, it's so hard to keep a front 5 all together for 17 games. It's near impossible to do that. But starting off week 1 on this note is really rough. It's I would say losing these 3 guys is equal to losing Jordan Love for the 3 to 6 weeks that he's expected to be out. Because at least Packers fans can know the team's going to be ready. Like right now, if I'm a fan, I'm saying the team's going to be ready for Jordan Love. If we can just go 500, that's the expectation. If we can just go 500 and split, when Love comes back, we can go on a run. The Rams, this becomes, if this continues, it becomes a surmounting injury. And if these 3 come back, they could be coming back to a 1-3 team. They could be coming back to a team that's got to climb and crawl back. And I believe that, McVay is a guy that could get them to crawl and climb back. But old quarterback that's dinged up, I don't know. Puka's had this injury nagging all off season, and week 1 it comes back and he's on the IR. That's a rough scene because he's 100%. He's ready to go. It's a non-issue. We got lucky on this one. Well, you didn't really get that lucky. Maybe you should have taken a little more time for him. It's tough. It's really tough for the Rams because this is something that could spiral for them, I think.
The spiraling part's the key part here, where whenever you have this early start with injuries, that's kind of where things start to snowball. The problems start to snowball. And it's not like we're talking about one guy. We're talking about 3 important players on your offense, and more importantly, at offensive line, where you typically, this isn't college, where you've got a young freshman who's coming up and, maybe you throw him out there and see if he can play. You have backups that were maybe on the practice squad, or swing players that were guards that are being asked to play tackle, or vice versa. Your backups usually aren't very good. I don't know exactly the quality of the Rams backup situation because I don't study the backup offensive linemen in the NFL. I don't think many people do. But when you're down 2 guys and you have to plug in that many, seeing the amount of times that the Giants had to go through this, just constantly bringing in backups because there were injuries, it can be seriously detrimental. I would just hope that Stafford gets through this stretch unscathed, and that this team is able to return these guys at some point with some momentum. But it's just always an ominous feeling that when your team is banged up early, that it kind of is preceding of what the year is going to be like. Whenever we look back at teams that are, they just got really bad injury luck, it always starts in week 1, and it's already feeling like the Rams are the biggest culprit here.
So if you got players going IR at this point of the season, they have to go for a minimum of 4 games. The Rams get the 49ers on the 22nd next week, or they get the Cardinals this week. That should be, I'd say, with the injuries, even matchup right now. I think the Rams come out on top. Then they get the 49ers 2 weeks from now. Then Chicago at Chicago, and then they host the Packers. Is there any way they can go 500 over that stretch? Cardinals, 49ers, Bears, Packers. I think they have a shot.
I think it's plausible. I mean, you get to play the Packers, which is beneficial.
I think the Bears take care of them actually, and I think the 49ers take care of them handily. They could beat Arizona. They can't lose this game this week, or else that's just bad news, Bears. And I think they can beat the Packers as long as Jordan Love isn't starting by then.
We'll see if this ends up hurting the Rams. It's going to be a tough stretch for them coming up. Sean, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Oh, I got some final thoughts. Friday, Hack Bag is coming back. We're going to be answering your questions on Twitter, and then we also want to answer your voicemails. Call in 201-834-4308. Goofy voicemails, serious voicemails. Give us some voicemails. If we don't get voicemails, and we don't get a lot of them, I'm going to have to move back home with my parents. I'm not joking. I need some voicemails. We need to have a fun show. We need to get some fun shows going, some listener interaction.
That was a bit extreme.
Yeah, you know what? I don't like having to threaten the audience with the cold hard.
Yeah,
truth.
I think you need to stop threatening them. I think that would be that'd be appreciated. At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio, at Hack City Pod on Twitter. Subscribe, 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, folks. We'll talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your week.